This week's story, or my story, comes from Electrek, the headline of which, and I quote Mr. Lambert directly, Tesla starts canceling solar roof orders after years of taking deposits. The gist of this story is a point that I've made repeatedly without a lot of, without any evidence, just based on my experience there and my observations of Tesla, that solar roof wasn't really a product. And I maintain that solar roof was at best something they tried and failed at, and at worst a fraudulent way to leverage the Solar City buyout past otherwise not very interested Tesla board. The good news for Tesla is that they, at least so far, have survived that. They've moved past it now, and they've pretty much trimmed all of their home energy out of the company. I'm sure Buffalo is going to close at sometime soon, because they're maintaining this pretext that there's an ongoing solar factory in Buffalo, New York, is expensive and it's not generating any money. So anyway, Tesla has announced that they are refunding some deposit holders for solar roof several years after many of these deposit holders put their deposits down, because that Tesla is limiting the installation area. This is from Tesla. I think it's made up, but okay, that they're only going to be installing them in certain areas. So, 3 years, almost 4 years later, Tesla kind of comes out and goes, yeah, solar roof, not such a big deal. That's all I got.
If someone else wants to go ahead, then I'll take the other side. I'll do Pat's rant.
I certainly want to, we've had this discussion previously. Several times, actually.
We have.
But I do want to put the point out that Tesla was under duress for the Model 3 startup. And they robbed Tesla Energy of employees and resources in order to push everything into the Model 3. They knew it had to succeed. They knew it was their number one priority, and they had to do it. And they did it. And thank goodness they did it in order to get over the hump and make Model 3 successful, and ultimately pave the way for Tesla to continue in a greater fashion. But it is unfortunate that the people that put their heart and soul into the Tesla solar roof, a lot of them were laid off, removed from the company, resources taken away. And that would be tough if you were in that industry, especially if you were part of Solar City, seeing its growth and its where it was in place before Tesla purchased it. It would definitely be disheartening. But as it goes, they were part of the Tesla overall group, and the overall group had to make a cut in order to keep everything else alive, so that they could come back to solar at some point, if
maybe.
But if they were bankrupt, they would have no capability of ever coming back. So I just want to put that out there.
A standalone Solar City that went bankrupt could have easily been bought out by Sunrun or somebody else who was the number 2 or 3 position behind them, absorbed that and kept on going. The problem is, and I'm going to disagree with Mark's story. I think it's certainly every bit as applies to the facts as anything I'm putting out there. We just disagree on that. I think it's a convenient cover story. I don't think it's legit. The Tesla buyout was all about pulling Elon and his family out of the Solar City hotspot that they were in. I don't think it had anything to do with the idea that them killing it off because they had to save the Model 3. They killed it off because it made no sense for them, because they didn't know how to do it. My opinion versus Mark's.
So back to the premise of the story. Last month, I was calling them because I was sick and tired of working with local solar companies that go to business, and I'm looking to purchase a new home. And the rep didn't shy away from offering me the solar roof, but because the last time I got a quote on it, it was the price of my house. I wasn't that interested in it. I was like, just get me a quote on the panels, and he's like, well, just pick what size you want off the website, and we'll take care of you. And that's like, hey, looking at my zip code, what's the process here? Because if I buy a brand new house, I might as well get a new roof. That's what Elon keeps saying, right? So let's put it on there. He's like, yeah, we can do that right now, but you gotta take the old roof, and then. So basically, I had to buy a house with a roof because the builder's not going to sell it to you without a roof, and Tesla won't warranty if it comes from if somebody else puts it on other than one of their partners. And so, the fact that they didn't say no, does that mean I'm in the area, or does that mean that they hadn't firmed it up yet? I don't know.
It's a convenient catch-22, isn't it?
And they won't tell you. You got to pay first.
Yeah, I find the whole discussion. Well, I find the whole issue in this article to be very poor customer service. And
I'm surprised with Tesla.
I'm definitely not surprised.
Oh, no, I mean, they have the worst customer service I've ever seen ever since Model 3 came out.
There's a level of arrogance that goes on here, and I just feel like it's tremendously bad customer service. It's a bad way to handle people. It's going to leave a bad taste in their mouths. And I did find it surprising because we've talked before about other projects they've done involving solar energy farms, and they've been quite successful. So why basically take a machine gun and shoot yourself off up to the knees where it comes to your name and the solar roof project? There had to have been a better way to do this, even if what you said is, we're no longer going to be offering this product except for these specific areas. However, here are solar roof companies in your area that we can direct you to, and you don't take 7 to 10 years to get back to them. That's insane. It is an incredibly high-handed, arrogant way of dealing with people. And you know what? Anybody who is feeling disappointed or upset but still gonna go with Tesla for something else, I'm literally like, let me buy some extra hands and put some more middle fingers up to you, because I'm not going to spend a dime on anything you ever do. You know, that's just the way how I am. But, you know, all of you forgiving types, you can have your Tesla roof. But that would end the relationship.
So the other thing is, Russell mentioned Buffalo again. They are building all of their battery stuff there as far as the finished product. And
allegedly,
and the V3 supercharger rollout is quite underway, and so they'll need it for a little while unless they shift everything all at once.
Right, and when they start these semi rollouts, they're going to need mega chargers, and those will probably come out of New York as well.
They are related technologies, so
yep.
Yeah.
So I don't see New York going away anytime soon, and. Yes, I'm sure that Tesla would have loved to have had version 1 of this product just work great, but it didn't, and now they're on version 3. And the fact that these people are getting notifications that say, hey, we're not going to service your area, that means that they've figured out what areas they are going to service. And so I think we can expect to see solar roof installations ramp up this year. And yeah, there are some people who gave them $1,000 3 or 4 years ago, and they were taking a chance and pre-ordering something, and it didn't pan out. And that's, you know, it's too bad, but it's not criminal.
It's like that line in Animal House where they go, you trusted us, you were a sucker.
At least they didn't take the money and run like some of the companies we've seen.
It's refundable. They're getting their money back. Yeah, it wasn't $5,000 or $10,000. So for people who are putting on a solar glass roof, they're pretty well heeled. This is not I can't make my buy groceries this month money. So I'm excited to see these roll out later this year. That'll be when it's cool. This is just a little insignificant bump in the road.
I have seen several of their Powerwall partners actually come out and installing solar roof. So these are non-Tesla companies, non-Tesla employees. They did have a business relationship very recently. They are now installing solar roofs, and so I'm curious to see how this all plays out.
I don't know that this is a 30-minute discussion, and that's not me shutting anybody down. But I do want to say this to Patrick, in that when you talk about V1 versus V2 versus V3, that means you believe the timeline that you've been presented. There is no evidence that they're three distinct products, right?
Well, they showed them to us. You had the single tiles on Elon's roof, and then you had the double tiles on some other employee's roof, and then these V3s that we're seeing are 4 tiles wide, and they're being installed by third parties on people's houses, if not Tesla themselves.
Right, and that was to cut the install time and limit the amount of wiring between the panels. So that meant the panels kept getting bigger and bigger, and they had to keep them aesthetically right. They had to work on the mounting system. They had to make sure that the couplings between them could handle rain and all the other elements being outside for 20 years. Yeah, so there was difficult problems, not insurmountable, and it took time.
Yeah, you do have quite a warranty on them.
What you're telling me then is that they were able to build a few prototypes of each one of these alleged iterations.
And make improvements
no single one of them has been in mass production yet.
Right.
Well, they're in production enough that they're willing to let a third party deal with it. No third party is going to want to jump on board with something like that.
Come on.
That's a beta like that.
Are you serious?
Yes.
You're telling me that no contractor is going to take money to install something because they don't believe in it?
Well, I mean, who's going to like put themselves out there on the line for the 20 years that the thing is warranted for these days, and order an inventory of it if they think that it's not solid? Most contractors I know are always constantly saying, you don't want to buy that one, buy this one instead.
So, Russell, if they rolled out version 2 and it had problems and they had failures and had to do replacements, you would be saying, I can't believe they rolled it out when it was such a pile of crap. And now because they waited to get it right, you're like, oh, it was all fake. They weren't making them.
No, that's bullshit. That's bullshit, and I'll tell you why. I don't mind them iterating the product to improve it. What I mind is saying, holding this up, here it is, it exists, look at these houses, it's on these houses, here it is, you can buy it now. That's what they did. Okay? It wasn't, I love it when they iterate. I've said that about over-the-air updates and software on cars. I question the non-model yearing vehicles, but I get it. Okay? It's part of the way their innovation. That's fine. I don't think that's fair to say that my criticism is because they were making the product better. My criticism is because it's still not a product. That's my criticism, is that it's a fake product. They're doing this to cover their ass. There's not thousands there isn't even hundreds of these things out there. Okay? There's a few dozen.
I was going to say dozens.
Prove it.
No, I was going to say dozens. When you said it.
Yeah, maybe that's the problem that I have with this, is that it's still not a product. Just my opinion. The other thing I noticed when I went to the Tesla site to look at this to kind of check out the unlimited lifetime infinity warranties, no longer unlimited lifetime in infinity. It's now 25 years.
Yeah, that happened with V3.
Yep.
So V3 actually made it worse.
Yeah. Their argument for that was that they didn't guarantee the generation beyond that, so why guarantee you're just going to have glass up there? Glass should be stable.
Cheers to Tesla for making the warranty more realistic and not some bullshit unlimited lifetime. Unless an asteroid hits us, we're going to replace your loop. Okay, cheers to them for that. But again, it's this dishonest approach that I have a problem with.